Hey everybody, Saturday, August 3rd, out in the garage, working on our Jeep again today. It's a beautiful day here in northern Nevada. Sun's out, sky's clear, John Kerry day if you will. Temperatures are a little cooler than it was, still kind of warm but not too bad. So that's always a good thing. So we're working on our Jeep, our 99 Grand Cherokee. 4.7, still taking it apart. Just taking it down piece by piece by piece. Running into quite a lot of... I'm going to change all the hoses and so forth on this because everything that we touch rubber or plastic wise in this is just hardened and brittle, and it breaks. And the rubber hoses, I've all gotten the rubber hoses off, but I just don't trust them, so I think we're going to change those. Let's take a look at where we're at. Getting closer. Okay, so far today we've pulled the air conditioning, got that off and out of the way. We've taken our oil fill tube assembly out. We've pulled our injectors. Our injector rail is off, and our intake manifold is off. Getting quite a pile of parts here off of that. The intake is just basically a plastic plenum, nothing to it. This is our injector rail. No problems with any of that. So going along slow, but it's going okay. Next up, I think we're going to be taking off our front cover. We're going to have to pull the balancer, and to get this cover off. So we'll take the front cover off, and that should expose all the timing components in there for us. Once we get the valve covers off, the chains and sprockets for the cams should be here. So we'll see what we get when we get to that point. But yeah, not too bad. Like I say, a lot of parts to go. One of the air conditioning lines, I undid the compressor, and my thought was I was just going to kind of set it to the side. I no more than moved it this far, and the line just blew. Once again, it was all dry, cracked. So we'll be changing that. The only problem is with that particular line, this is the line that fractured right here, and no big deal, get a line. But the problem is all this from the evaporator down through the accumulator and over here is all one piece. So I may be able to have one of the shops in town repair that, but I'm kind of thinking, you know what, if that hose is that dry and that hard, I don't really trust this one either. And seeing this is a vehicle that we are going to keep, and she is going to drive, I want it to be reliable. I don't want to be worrying about little silly things like hoses and things like that. So while we got it apart, we're going to put a bunch of new parts on it. I was kind of planning on doing a water pump anyways, but as you can see, I don't know if I can pick it up. See, the pump has been leaking anyways. So we'll change that. Whenever my thought is, and this, once again, all this stuff here that I show on here, this is just how I do it, what I think. You know what? There's other ways, and there's different trains of thought. So just take it for what it's worth. Like I say, it's just kind of my opinion, and not necessarily gospel by any stretch of the mean. But I'm thinking that when you're doing a project like this and doing a job like this, if it's something that you're going to be turning loose on the road with a family member, or a loved one, or even if it's something you're going to sell, go with a little bit extra, fix it properly. Don't just half-ass throw it together because you're going to sell it or something like that. That's the one thing I don't like about people who flip cars, and they sell a lot of junk to people sometimes, and unfortunately usually the people that buy those are the people that really need the vehicle, for transportation for kids or jobs or whatever, and they don't have a lot of money, which is why they buy some of the cheaper vehicles that we flip. So have a little bit of a conscience, I guess. Do it right. You got it apart anyways, the way that I see it. I'm going to have all these parts off. It's no difference in my time to put a new one back on as opposed to put the old one back on. So anything that I run across that I don't trust, I'm going to replace. So, like I say, just my thought on the matter. I mean, people do have different opinions about that, but that's just what I think. So I think next up, first thing we're going to do here pretty quick is I think I'm going to run down to my 7-Eleven and get myself a big gulp. Kind of thirsty. So that will calm some of that down a little bit. And then we're going to get back after it. It's only, it's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so we'll work on this in a couple more hours. Maybe we'll get the valve covers off, see what it looks like under there. That should expose our cams, and we'll start seeing what we need to do to take some of this front cover componentry off and get inside that and see what we got. So that's where we're at. We're going to go get a drink, and we'll be back in a bit. Okay, we're back. We have our front cover off, valve covers off, water pumps off, of course. And that's basically what we're looking at here. Get a little light. Cams are driven by a chain on each side. Crank drives a idler by a chain. Couple of tensioners there, and of course our other cam chain. Okay, so we're going to have to figure out our timing and get this set before we take anything apart. I like to have it where it needs to be before we pull things apart, because I know right now it is correct, so we just want to make sure that we kind of stay that way. As you can see on the inside of this, major evidence of coolant having gone into the oil here. Lots of chocolate milk looking stuff, if you see around, so it definitely was passing coolant into the oil. No question about that. So we definitely have that. The other thing that grab it here so you can try to get a good view of it. The other thing I did, of course, I pulled the spark plugs out, and the number 6 spark plug focuses. That's what I found on number 6. So that's not good. I mean, we'll see what we got in there, but to me, I mean, that really looks like focus. Something has come up and contacted that. So that might be a major problem. We'll have to see what we get when we pull the cylinder head off. I'm pretty much done for tonight, so I think the cylinder head will be a tomorrow project. We'll figure out our timing and get that pulled off. Didn't really see anything else too spectacular. The water pump has definitely been leaking, as you can see here. This actually kind of looks like the pump itself wasn't leaking, but it was leaking around the pump. So we're going to be changing that. Had to use a 3-jaw puller to get the damper off the lower pulley, so that would not come right off very easily. It's not coming apart too badly at this point. I don't think this is the job I would recommend for somebody who wasn't really sure of some of this stuff, you know, kind of had a little experience, or, you know, I'm following along in the book for the most part, because this is the first one of these that I've had apart. So I mean, it's all new, you know, but so we're going right along pretty good. I mean, we made pretty good progress today, and it's hot, you know, so we take a few parts off, sit and watch TV in front of the fan for a minute, then take a few more parts off, so we kind of go back and forth, you know. So there's a automatic tensioner, so we're gonna have to figure out what to do with those. There's two of them that tension the cam belts, you know, one on either side. There's the other one there. And reading in the book, there's another tensioner down in here somewhere. I guess it's this affair here. So Ziggy left a comment. He kind of felt that this is like that 3.7 that he did head gaskets on in Australia, and I think it is. I think it's almost exactly the same thing. It's the same setup anyways. It's physically a little bit larger, but I don't think there's really much of a difference between the two. So that's what we got here. We may be into some pretty major stuff depending on what we find in number 6. Like I said, that spark plug looks to me like something has come down through and whacked it pretty good. So we'll just have to see what we got. Number 6 is the second one. Second back on that side. I think I'm calling these right. I'm calling it, you know, 1, 3, 5, 7, and 2, 4, 6, 8 down this side. I think I'm correct with that. I think Chrysler does it that way. So that's that. I don't know if I've showed or not. We did get the windows done in the cop car. That makes that actually look a lot better, I think. I think it really improves the appearance of the car. Basically what we did is it's the two rear doors and the rear window are limo tint, and it's 20% on the two front doors. So we're not exactly legal in Nevada. I think the two front doors shouldn't be any darker than 35%. But the cars that the state has that they've actually tinted are actually darker than this. So I'm not too worried about that. But it makes it look a lot better. Looks pretty good. So we did get that done. I'm going to have to get some paint work on this though for those spots that we had before. Good car, drive it a lot. No complaints with it whatsoever. I probably should be change the oil and filter in it here, but other than that, she's good to go. So that's everything that's going on here at Jeep Motors. And that's kind of the way we spent our day today. So I don't know, we'll see what tomorrow brings. I'm not sure if we're going to be doing anything tomorrow or I'll be working on this. If I am working on this, of course, I'll take a little video and get it up for you guys and see what we find when we open this thing up. But if not, then maybe some night during the week. I always say some night during the week, but it seems like it's pretty tough to get that. Here, as you can see, manual. Haynes. I like these Haynes manuals. I have pretty good luck with them. They have usually all the information that I'm looking for. I find in my Haynes manuals. That's the one other thing that, you know, if you, it's kind of a invaluable little tool. If you you know, you're doing something for the first time, you're not really sure of it, or even if you're putting something together you're actually very familiar with, but you just, you know, look up torque values and stuff like that for torquing your hardware. Manuals are invaluable. I try to buy a manual for every vehicle that I own. I have actually, I purchased a couple of Chilton's manuals recently, and I'm not as happy with those. They don't seem to have the information, but I do usually get what I need to know out of the Haynes. So just my opinion on that. So anyways, that's about it for today. Gonna call it a day, Gwen, and maybe watch a few videos, and I'll throw this one up for you guys. Have something to watch, and we'll get back at it when we get back at it. So until the next time. Oh, and don't forget, tomorrow night, Sunday night, is the Mumble. Come on in, chat with the Mumble. And as I said before, if you have any desire to do so, go to WTBM123's channel, Terry's. He's got a very good video up there on how to get yourself set up and on the Mumble. So, anyways, until the next time we meet, as always, take it easy.